All right, we are on air. Thanks, guys, for joining, and for anyone who watches now the live stream or later the video. This is a weekly meeting to check in on active development tasks for DocDoc CMS. Today is March 22nd. We did projects in the last week. We got one new one, so thanks for releasing extended image module. Other related stuff for the website, we're currently working on revamping the modules, themes, and layouts selection pages, and we're hoping those changes will go in conjunction with changes to the modules, themes, and layouts APIs. In particular, the ability to use more than one screenshot and the ability to tag a project with something other than the group name of the code it's released with, or the groups that are currently on VM4. So more flexibility with how to organize modules and find them with searching and stuff like that. Let's see. We are also working on adding a search box to the form site. That should be up there already, but it needs a little style cleanup, so I don't think everybody has access to use it yet. So hopefully it won't be long before we get that out. And I think that's it in terms of non-backdrop product stuff that we're working on. And for the product, I have to apologize. Nate usually does an update on this section. We usually spend some time before the meeting going through the issue queue and getting up to speed on everything that's happened in the last week. I haven't had a chance to do that. So I'll just run through these really quick. For 1.9.3, which is going to be the next release of Backdraft that will come out next Wednesday, we are co-releasing with a Drupal security release. So everybody should make time next Wednesday to make that update. And we have two other issues that we're working on that may or may not be in the 1.9.3 release next week. One of them is a fix to email messages. So if you upgrade the site from Drupal 6 or Drupal 7, there are some end-of-line markers in those emails that don't get upgraded properly. You actually see the end-of-line characters and messages in Backdraft. There's a fix for that. I think the pull request just needs to be tested. And then the other one is about changing the way our database credentials are handled, and that issue is 2904. There's a fix for that currently, but I don't think it can be committed without a message being added to the status report, letting people know that they might need to change their database password if it's going to be problematic. So that one's pretty close as well, and I'm not sure if either or both of those will get into next month's release. It'll depend on if they get any progress made and if that progress is deemed good enough to commit. Otherwise, I get pushed to 194.
I have a question to the update.
Yes.
Isn't it better to divide updates, so between security updates and bug fix updates, even or at least with such a highly critical update? So
I don't know. I would leave that to Nate to make that call if he thinks any other fixes should be included in the security update. I think if it's actually just bug fixes, there's probably no reason to separate them. But if we were adding other changes that were new features, right, those have to wait for a new feature branch. But I don't know. I don't know what the details are of the security release that's coming out next week. I don't know if that's something that Nate might think needs to go on its own, or if it's something that we would include other things in. So we'll have to see what he thinks when he is back.
Well, I think that if someone doesn't want to upgrade their site, the chances of having even the latest version to do a clean upgrade is not high. Chances are they're probably running an older version then even, and they probably just have to apply the patches for the security update. So as long as we have patches available for whatever the security update is, someone should be able to apply that to any site if they don't want to upgrade.
usually I don't know if there are patches, so I never heard of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I just assumed that there would be, or we could.
I think that's the reason why we have a difference between a bug fix release and a feature release, but there aren't usually separations between like a security bug fix and non-security bug fix. That's just something that Drupal has been doing lately, and I don't know if that is, I don't know if there's like a necessarily a good reason for that. I mean, it would seem to me like if we had a bug fix release, people wouldn't want to say, I only want to fix one bug. I don't want to fix all the bugs. Right? Because in theory, the bug fixes are going to be fixing things, not breaking things.
Yeah,
new features.
yeah, in theory, but sometimes, you know, in the last releases we had some also bug fixes who brought new bugs. So I think, yeah, it's more secure in my opinion to only do the security update.
Yeah,
well, we can see,
It's less risky. So
yeah. Well, we can see.
I mean,
You should
it
probably.
depends on like the kinds of things we're introducing too. Like if the bug we're fixing is a bug we know about that's causing a huge problem, like we shouldn't allow people to opt out of that fix. I mean, obviously anyone can. They can go and pick and choose which commits to apply and which ones not. But I would say in general, like we need to be not encouraging people to like pick and choose between which bugs they want fixed and which ones they don't. They want them all to be on like the latest stable version all the time. But I don't know. I mean, this one might be different. This might be one where it's like the only thing we need to do this time is this, and maybe there's a reason for it, but I haven't seen it. So
yeah.
can't speak to that specifically.
And another question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say probably best something to raise with Nate when he's available.
Yeah. Okay. And another question, shouldn't we also send like Drupal an announcement? Because, yeah, also because of the highly critical status.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. If you're on the Drupal security mailing list, they sent out an email this week letting everybody know about the release that's coming next week. We have a Backdrop security mailing list as well. And I was wondering if maybe we should try and send a message to everybody on Backdrop to keep an eye out for that. I think it's probably a good idea.
Yes, I agree. We should definitely do that.
So I think in order to do that for Backdrop, all we need to do is create a node on the Backdrop site that's a security announcement, and it can look sort of like Drupal's where it's a little bit vague, and it'll trigger the email to go out to everybody who's on that list. So I'll take a stab at drafting that today. I want to run it by Jeff, though, since that's usually his territory, and then maybe Nate, too, when he gets off the phone. Make sure. That's okay. Have a note. Great. Okay. Are there any other questions about next week? I mean, I don't know if I can answer them, but other things we're working on in Backdrop 110, which is scheduled for May 15th, is improvements to the translation system. In particular, we have an issue for menu items, which is 225, configuration, which is 704, and block translation, which is 2956. I'm not personally familiar with the status of any of those issues, but it does look like we're having a lot of progress being made on translation issues in general. So hopefully we'll be able to get some of those in for one time. And then, of course, as mentioned earlier, changes to the modules, themes, and layouts system, including adding tags, being able to filter and search on those new tags, the existing labels, whether it's core and contrib, and anything else we think might be useful, and then the ability to include multiple screenshots from those projects. Those issues are 37 for adding tags, 2973 for fixing search, and 1517 for adding more screenshots. Jeff isn't here today to give us an update on Backdrop for Good, but last I heard, the project was proceeding well, which is good. Is there anything else we should talk about today that's not on the agenda?
I'd be interested, so I don't know, what do you think about the next release, but I think we had the idea, somebody said it sometimes, to maybe make a sprint in the middle of the release cycle, because so now it's just, well, a bit more than a month until feature freeze. And I noticed that there is some progress in the things that are in the roadmap, but yeah, it's also quite a lot to do still, I think. There are also the file-related features. So maybe it would be good, yeah, to agree about maybe a certain week in the middle of April or such thing, where we could build some teams to sprint on the various topics. What do you think about it?
Sounds like a good idea. Is the code freeze at the end of April?
Yeah, well, 1st of May, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it might be even best to do that during like the last week before the code freeze, just to try to wrap everything up before then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that because I have a deadline on April 22nd. I can't do anything before then.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good idea. Trying to do it earlier will give us more time to kind of tie up any loose ends before code freeze, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So if we did it like maybe not the week of DrupalCon.
When is DrupalCon? Which week?
DrupalCon is the 9th through the 13th of April.
Okay.
But I was thinking, yeah, like before, like maybe the week of the 16th. That would give us we could organize like a sprint day or two that week, and then get it done the week after. Or we could do it earlier. We could do it next week.
Next week with the security update.
Yeah, maybe running out of weeks. First week in April. That could work. So should we set up like a day, or should we try and let people who are, for example, really interested in translation pick a day that works for like that team, and people who are interested in module selection pick like a day that works on that team, and or 2 days or something where we can devote whatever time people have in their time that works, or run everyone in the same place at the same time?
Actually, I don't know because I didn't do that before, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, maybe let's take the idea and we think about it, and also who of us maybe would be responsible more or less for certain topics, for example, file-related issues, translation issues, and so on. So I could do translation issues, and then I would ask the people who up to now were made or discussed these topics, and would ask them when they have time. And you would do it for the file-related issues, for example, or whoever. So
I think that's a good idea.
Michael, what about, or you two of us, what about reference? Because there was some activity.
Yeah. I need to take a look at it. I don't have good data to test the upgrade path for, there was a request for a upgrade path, a pull request, and I haven't had a chance to, like, create some Drupal 7 data and test the entity upgrade path. But if anyone else has time, from my first look, the code looked good. Jen, did you ever reply to that, the thread about that, the discussion?
I did. Okay. I think where we ended up is like we just need to make a list of all the things that are going to be release blockers and figure out how close we're going to get. Bala is the person who has been working on the pull request, and he's working on one of my projects right now. So I have a great database if you want a copy of it. It's got all of the different types of things. So you can
a Drupal 7 database with entity reference? Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you comfortable with that upgrade path being like sort of the main upgrade path for the module? Because I know you wanted to have upgrade paths from all the other reference types, but that's not really.
Yeah, we need to figure out what our timeline is, and if we think, like in general, I think we shouldn't waste time on having an optional upgrade path if this is going to be in core. But if it's going to be in contrib, for a long period of time, people might want to choose to use it and not be forced to make that upgrade. So I don't know where those other upgrade paths would live in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is good for a main upgrade path, and then or a main migration path, and then maybe create like a sub-module or something that does like cross migrations from one module to another.
Yeah, I just think that might be a lot of wasted effort if the end result is like none of those are going to exist. So we just need to figure out. My reasoning in the issue queue was, let's look at why somebody might not want to move to reference and fix that problem, rather than trying to build.
Oh no, I'm just, lots of people have backdrop sites now that aren't using reference, that are using node reference and term reference and stuff like that. So I mean, it's more like upgrading those modules on existing sites.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there are really a lot of people who use references with the Nest. So I think it's one of the most popular modules.
Yeah.
And yeah, as we discussed in the queue, there are some features in references which are not in reference.
Okay. So, I'll go back in there and take a look at everything.
I think we have a pretty reasonable, it's like nothing in there looks like we couldn't do it. It's nothing that's really ridiculous in terms of requirements. But I think we should keep an eye on that, because there might be some other things that come up later that we realize we're missing that might be hard. And then maybe we would have a use case for, someone wanting to keep something in reference. But I don't think we have one yet.
Okay. I'd propose to focus for this release maybe more on the translation and the file related issues. Because reference, we're waiting for it already a long time, so it makes no difference if we wait for another release, the 1.11. And so, because if we take reference also now, so nothing will happen, I think. So it's better to focus on the other stuff.
Yeah. There's still too much for reference to get it into core for the upcoming release. So we need to work on it a bit more in contrib first.
Yeah, and I've got a couple more sites coming up too that might be good use cases for testing them. And I'm happy to sort of run the alpha version of reference on these sites for a while and fix any issues that come up. So I think I would be more comfortable with that too, just having more people using it before we put it in core.
And if someone had, a little bit of money to pay me to work on reference too, if they have a project that needs it, that would also be appreciated.
Yeah. Have you ever discussed such things? Because I know in Drupal it happens a lot that there are some initiatives and they collect money and so on, and I think it's a good idea. So.
I'm working on a backdrop site now, so I'm working on a backdrop site now that I might actually be able to do some work on reference as part of it. So I'll try to do that. But yeah, if anyone else has they need like a piece of functionality right away, I'd be happy to work on it for, a couple hours and hopefully fix it. Or if they want to pledge money or something, I just need to work the hours. My day job that I took was a bit of a not ideal situation, so I'm back in the trying to scrounge for money.
Just to answer your question about paying people for development, we did talk about back in really early in the backdrop cycle about like trying to come up with a stipend for core developers or people who are working on features, and then we decided that we didn't think that would be a good idea, because it would then become very contentious as to like who's getting paid for what, and is that really worth more than the other stuff that we need? And then we didn't have very much money in the beginning either, so it was like, now we have to come up with a business model where we can like make money, we can pay people, and we just decided to like push that decision down the road. So if we think that it's something that we want to revisit, that's definitely something I think we can do. And I think that as soon as we get under the umbrella of the Software Freedom Conservancy, we'll have a little more experience in the area of fundraising. And so if we have a budget item we need to come up with funds for, we'll have a better way of doing that now. So I definitely think it's something we can revisit, especially if we feel like there's a feature that is going to make a really big difference to Backdrop and we need to invest in it. That could be a very worthwhile decision. So it was too hard to figure out last time.
Yeah. I think another important aspect from my perspective, as I can help with testing and so on, but don't code. And so even I also don't have much money, but I would help to fund some money because, yeah, I see also that some people who work for Backdrop, they do it for a time and then sometimes they disappear, and because, yeah, they have to work in a regular job, and it would be nice to pay them. I think I know that's only one aspect, but it's better than they disappear. So.
Yeah.
Or even if we do it like on like a bounty system, where if we have a particular feature that we want, we can put a bounty on it for whoever actually does it. Even if it's not that much money, but just something to help encourage people to work on the things that we need.
Yep. We're already kind of seeing that in the Kinship space and the issue queue for projects people want ported, and I'd love to see that model be successful for core too. Like we can put bounties on our own stuff and get that done.
All right. Anything else?
I don't have anything else. If you guys don't have anything else, we can wrap, and I'll go start working on security announcement.
Okay. I'm gonna get back to working on this Backdrop site.
All right, thanks guys.
I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.